How these moms fought for their children during Boston's school desegregation efforts. Most mothers in Boston's Chinatown were not affected during the first year of the busing desegregation plan implemented by Judge W. Arthur Garrity in 1974. Garrity had previously found that the Boston School Committee, which serves as the school board for Boston Public Schools, was guilty of intentionally segregating the city's schools. The busing program was supposed to solve this problem. Phase 1 of the plan began with high school students. Buses would transport black and white high school kids to each other's neighborhood for school. The effect this would have on Chinese American parents and their kids was largely ignored. Then, in 1975, the city began to roll out Phase 2 of the busing plan, which included elementary schools.
Parents came to me and asked me to read a letter for them. And the letter said, "Your child will not be coming back to this school next year." And immediately they looked at me and said, "Where are they going?" I said, "I don't know. It didn't say." So that was my first introduction of things is going to happen, that nobody, at least in the Chinese community, know what's going on and what is going to happen. Needless to say, that was very stressful time.
Suzanne Lee was a first-year bilingual teacher in 1975 when some of Chinatown's concerned parents began reaching out for help to understand what was happening. The parents had received letters informing them that Phase 2 of the busing program included sending their elementary school children to schools outside their neighborhood for the upcoming 1975 school year. However, the letters were written in English, and many parents were immigrants who could not read English. As they came to understand their new reality, worry set in.
They wanted some answers and some guarantee of safety and ways that the school can communicate with them if anything should happen. So they sent letters to the school committee, met with the school committee. Nobody would give them straight answers.
Fearing for the safety of their children, Chinese parents took action. They began to hold frequent meetings throughout the summer. They eventually found out that some of their elementary school kids would be sent to neighborhoods like Charlestown, which was an area where racial tensions ran high. Refusing to remain helpless, Lee and a group of mothers eventually formed the Boston Chinese Parents Association, also known as the BCPA. They worked tirelessly that summer to get the Boston School Committee to address their concerns. The BCPA also held a press conference to issue 9 demands to the committee. Despite all their efforts, they still felt like they were being ignored. But with time running out before schools were set to reopen, the BCPA decided on a last-minute move to gain the upper hand.
The day before school to start, I got a call from some of the parents' leaders. They said, "Miss Lee, we're not sending our kids to school tomorrow." I said, "Wait a minute, tomorrow is the first day of school. How are you going to do this? How do you notify people if you don't want?" He said, "We'll find a way and we know what to do, but we are not going when they would not guarantee us safety and communication with us."
Partially driven by the stories that began to circulate about how white protesters were attacking the buses that carried black kids, the BCPA decided to keep their kids home on the first day of school. The tactical move was a success. Most Chinese American kids scheduled to be bused out of their neighborhoods stayed home. The United States Department of Justice was forced to mediate the situation. The boycott lasted 3 days before the DOJ and Boston Public Schools agreed to meet most of the demands the Chinese Parents Association had requested.
For a lot of the Chinese parents that formed the Chinese Parents Association, it was the first group that was ever led by women, and the first group that's led by immigrant women, non-English speaking women. They were successful in coming together and through the boycott to force the system to answer to them. And it was a turning point in our own community, in the Chinese immigrant community. Nobody ever listened to women before. Never mind these non-English speaking garment workers, majority them. So to have them, in everybody else's eyes, the lowest group in any society, to be able to stand up to show their husband, show the leaders, so-called leaders within our own community that are all men, and the system. These mothers, they can be powerful.